64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 7. Grace VanderWaal, I Don't Know My Name.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Is This Song Good? Today we are doing a song that I picked. It's the song I Don't Know My Name by Grace VanderWaal. And specifically, I chose the recording from her audition on America's Got Talent. A few years ago, she was a contestant on the show, and this was her very first song that she played. And if you don't know, Grace VanderWaal is a 12-year-old middle school girl who plays ukulele and wrote this song and went on the show to play it. So I'm curious what you guys' initial opinions of that are.
So she was 12 at the time, but she's older now, right? Because this was a couple years ago.
Aged. Yes, she has aged.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think it was like 2016 that the recording happened. And yeah, she was 12 at the time. Yep.
I liked it. I thought it was, she's got a great voice. There were some times when she's singing where it does sort of like the crackly type of squeaky type of stuff that I don't like so much, but overall I think she's got an amazing voice, and I like the simplicity of the song. It's simplistic for us, but I think it's pretty advanced for she had written it when she was 12. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool that she plays the ukulele while she's singing. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Okay, so let me preface this by saying that it's really impressive that she's writing her own stuff, and it's very competent, not silly, like the lyrics work, the song works, her performance is really good. So all that said,
before you destroy a little girl, we have to lay that foundation.
Yeah. Yes. So a few things. There's a few. Number one, the actual on the TV show thing definitely made it worse for my listening experience, because I really, as you well know, don't like those kind of shows with the studio audiences that are all amped up and primed and being prodded to scream and cheer every time anything happens. So I hate that about the recording. I went and listened to her studio recording of it, and another live recording of it too, because I couldn't make myself listen to that more than once.
That's fair.
I was like, all right, well, I need to listen to it more than once, so let me go listen to it a different way. So yeah, taking that out of it, I would have trouble enjoying anything in that context. So yeah, it's well done, especially for the age of the person doing the writing, and that's really great. She's talented, but one thing I don't like about her style of singing is it reminds me a lot of sort of, I don't know, there's a lot of pop music I've heard where people take this affectation on their voice. It sounds to me almost like like Australian Kermit or something. This sort of like really weird accent thing, which isn't automatically a bad thing, but I just find it very distracting when I'm listening to it. I'm just thinking about how that doesn't sound anything like her speaking voice.
Well, and I think that's where those like crackly, squeaky things, which I'm having difficulty describing, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like when she's changing from a note to a
break.
Yeah. It's like there's a break in there, and I think it's because of what you're describing, which is she's trying so hard to make her voice do a different thing.
Yeah. It feels affected. It feels like she's really trying to make it sound, I don't know if it's the goal is more adult or just weird. And it is a little weird, but like, I don't know. It just sounds forced to me. So those are the negative things, specifically about the on the TV show recording. That's just, boy, I would have trouble liking anything in that context. But I'm impressed by like it being a very good song, like well written. I mean, it's not the most profound thing I've ever heard in my life. It's kind of open ended, but it's a 12-year-old writing about, like figuring out her identity or something, right? So like
I kind of felt like it was about amnesia at first until I really kind of dug into the lyrics and then I was like, yeah, it makes more sense as just a 12-year-old sort of kind of find her voice and her identity, And
it makes sense. That's what a 12-year-old is trying to figure out. It's what she should be. It feels like she's writing from her life. So that's good. I'm sure I know I just from briefly looking, she's put out some albums, so like she's still doing music, and that's great, and she may well have a great future. I didn't listen to anything else by her, so I don't really know if she always sounds like that. Dave, I don't know if you watched that America's Got Talent season.
Yeah, so that's how I came across the song. Is 5 years ago, me and the fam are just watching some summertime game show TV, and we like to watch AGT as a family. It's a fun, light, easy to watch, especially when Jack was younger. I think he would have been 7 at the time. So there's not much we can watch with him, but it was fun to have a show that the whole family could watch. And we would, we'd sit there and we'd watch these neat acts. And I'm with you, Dan, where I really don't like the whole ceremony of the competition show, with the audience and all that. But, I also see the value of it too. And a lot of people get a lot out of that too. So, it's not only for me. Little 12-year-old girl came on. They're often just parents pushing their kids out onto the stage because they think they're doing something cute, and then the judges have to be polite so that children don't cry. But then this one came on, and I don't know what it was. And I don't know if you watched the whole video, but this was Howie Mandel's golden buzzer, which means they go straight through to the voting. They don't have to do any more auditions. But I kind of felt the same way he did, where it was just taken aback by the talent and just the raw, the innocence of where this girl was coming from. And I felt like she presented her story, albeit just a normal middle school girl story, nothing impressive. And she captures that perfectly in the song, where she doesn't know who she is. She's, and if you asked her, she doesn't have an answer to give you. And she didn't like being part of the cool group. And I just thought it was wonderful. So I fell in love with it right away. As the show progressed, her songs were varied in quality. I feel like this was the best one. And I think this is the one that was the hit on her album. And yeah, it's just, I really enjoyed it. And it was made me one of the rare times I rooted for a child act on the show. So that was very different for me.
So a quick question does she sing all of her songs with that same style?
To varying degrees of the affected voice type thing. Like they weren't all extremely, I think they were almost all with the ukulele, and then singing like that to varying degrees. Yeah. It got less exaggerated as she got more comfortable on stage. It was definitely, and you can hear it in the studio recording too, where it's not as much.
Yeah,
you can definitely. But yeah, that is her style of singing. No, there's no doubt about it.
And it makes sense that she left it behind a little bit as she got more comfortable, because it does feel like something she's kind of hiding behind.
Right.
I totally get it. Like it's easier to sing in a sort of stylized way than sing exactly how your voice sounds. So it makes sense. It's just one of those things that is, I have sometimes a pet peeve, and it's the thing. It's not like every person who sings that way like is annoying or annoys me. Like I always think of early Aerosmith, that first album. It's kind of my favorite singing by Steven Tyler, but he's kind of doing like a weird voice thing on it, So
Right.
like if sometimes it works, but man, sometimes it just rubs me the wrong way. I just didn't like that part of it. It's all very impressive. But yeah, and I watched the musical part of the video. I didn't want to hear a bunch of random people's opinion, because that's all that stuff kind of just grates at me. I totally get why people like it. And there's nothing wrong with liking it. It's it's just good, solid entertainment. It's just one of those things that rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, no, she seems very talented, especially at that age, and she's still doing music now, so that's great. I don't think I will ever listen to this song again because I was annoyed by it, but I wouldn't say that it's not good. I just I think when we vote, there's an element of, is this song good? Well, how about the vote being, I would say, yes, this is good, but I will never listen to this song again.
Well, originally my criteria for voting was going to be sort of like objectively, do I think this is, a well-made, well-written song? But I think we should probably clarify, and maybe I think it should be more of a subjective thing, even as simple as, would I ever listen to this again?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Everybody's going to have their own way of voting, but to me, that's probably what I'm coming from. Like, would I ever listen to this again? Yes or no?
And that's how I voted. Was it last week on yours, Zach?
Right.
Like I understand the art and all that in the song, but I don't think I'll ever go back and listen to that one.
And
so
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
Yep. All right, yeah. So if we want, that's my vote. Unless there's more you want to say, Dave or Zach, on this.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to say that she did go on to win the competition that year, which I think is pretty remarkable. Kind of solidifies my vote that my vote is that I do think the song is good. So
yeah, and my vote is, it may be good, but I will never listen to it again. So that's a thumbs down for me.
I will vote it's good. I will, I won't seek it out all the time, but I will definitely pop it on periodically. We listened to it in the car a couple times, and the boys seem to dig it as well. So it's got mass appeal, I think, and so yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it's good.
So you didn't get to watch Howie Mandel come up on stage and give?
I did watch all of that. Yes,
you watched all of it.
I watched all of that once. And then I went and I listened to the song a second time without all of that extra crap, the forced emotional junk. And then from there on out, I basically just listened to the studio version of it.
Yeah.
So I was keeping that performance in mind, but I wanted, it was easier to do the studio version of it. And there were some interesting changes about it too, like the sort of grandiosity of the end, the outro part or the end part. So
right. Yeah, and she's I don't know if it just hadn't been written yet, but I feel like in the performance she skipped a section.
Yeah.
Whether I think she forgot it.
They cut them. I know they don't let them do the full songs on those shows. They always chop them up to, you see that especially when they're doing covers, but I think they have like a short slot of time that they're allowed to fit in. They have to do some chopping almost always, because it's not 3 minutes. It's like, a minute and a half or something.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up Grace VanderWaal.
My
name.
All right. And then yours is up for next week, right, Dan?
Yep. We're doing a Lord Huron song, Not Dead Yet.
Okay.
All right.
I caught it on audio.